Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So, a lot of controversy surrounding some changes to the weekend mission. A lot of people, myself included, saw what was this weekend mission's offerings and assumed, hey, these got a little bit of a nerf. Normally that third mission is a gold mission for using the season pass card, and this week it wasn't. It's a credit mission, which if you're not a pass player, then that would be a buff for you, right? Because you wouldn't be getting the gold anyway. But for people who do buy the pass, it was viewed as a fairly negative thing, as 125 credits is worth quite a bit less than 150 gold, which is typically what occupies that slot. And as such, a lot of people weren't too happy about this. The weekend missions have already had a bit of like negative player sentiment around them due to offering a smaller amount of resources, especially when at the start of them and one or two times in the last few months they had more variable, better rates, at least in terms of the tokens offered as kind of a rebate for the new card. But we did get some clarification on what is going on with the weekend missions. So here we have it from Steven. Zemo will still get season pass missions with the same total gold other season pass cards have received from weekend missions. The final two weekend missions of the season will both include a Zemo mission. That mission will have double the amount of gold as usual to ensure the same total amount of gold from weekend missions. Think of the other few weeks as extra credits that previously wouldn't have been available, plus you aren't forced to playing a Zemo deck every weekend if you would prefer not to. We could have communicated better, but our intent was to add value, not add stress like it has so far. Hopefully everyone can enjoy a weekend of broader missions and extra credits before pulling out Zemo decks to finish the season with big gold missions. And then a little more further clarification, weeks 4 and 5 of the season will have a Baron Zemo weekend mission, 375 for each, totaling 750, which is the normal amount of gold you would get from a 5-week season. So yeah, it's really kind of funny to me that this was kind of a big communication flub, because it took something that objectively was a buff for everybody, both pass and non-pass players, and it made it feel like not a great thing, at least for the pass side of that coin. I think this very much shows how badly they need a community manager. If you don't know, they are hiring for a community manager. I don't think they've found anyone yet. But yeah, this is something that could have been very easily avoided, a bunch of players being, annoyed or upset about this, by just telling people beforehand rather than scrambling to be like, oh, hey, wait, this is actually how this is working after people kind of get the wrong idea, because no one had any way of knowing we would get better gold weekend missions later on in the month. It's just not a known variable. The other thing about this is this really should be communicated in game. If you're a player who isn't, dialed into the Discord or Twitter or YouTube or whatever, you probably have no idea that this is what they're going to do. And so many of those players might still be upset. Maybe they'll seek out that information, maybe they won't. But what's the point of having a news tab in the game if we can't actually put relevant, important news in there? In general, I think the Discord is really good for keeping up with news, but that's just not something the majority of the players are going to be engaging with. So I'd really love if they could find a way to put like a handful of the most relevant questions and answers and that kind of stuff somewhere in the actual game, rather than relegating it to Discord, because I think that would just lead to much better communication for the players. And yeah, like in general, this is a good thing. So instead of having to be on the back foot and being like, hey, we're actually not doing a bad thing, we're doing a good thing, you would think that they would benefit a lot from just getting that messaging out ahead of time. So there is no getting off on the wrong foot, having to, wipe out the negative sentiment with positive sentiment. It would just be seen as a win. And I think the game definitely could use more of those. So yeah, hopefully that's something they learn from this. Miscommunication happens. It's not that big of a deal. And it's nice that we got pretty quick communication on it, but I do think there is a lot of room for improvement in terms of how communication can work, especially to the larger player base. I mean, if you're watching this video, one comment I get a lot here on YouTube is people really like these news style videos because they just don't keep up with all the information on the Discord for one reason or another. And I think if that's the case with a portion of the community that's already engaged, like you have to be pretty engaged to be watching YouTube content, I think there's a whole lot of the community that's just kind of left in the dark on this stuff. And there's room for improvement there. So that's something I'd like to see. But yeah, just wanted to get the news out there. Turns out weekend mission changes are not a nerf. They are a buff. You're essentially getting a bit more free credits. And if you're looking for that gold, make sure you're playing with Zemo on the final 2 weekend missions of the month. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.